Oh snap, I think we're live.
We
Tex.
are.
It's yes, and welcome to my show. I believe it is your first time here on Donny Cho Says Stuff, so I bid you welcome.
It
And
is.
today,
Just be. I'm a virgin, so be gentle.
I will try to go easy on you today, Tex. But I've chosen a topic that I think you are quite familiar with, and I think you are of all the people I know probably the leading authority on this. And today, uh, well, okay, little aside. We were supposed to have Randy on to have a different topic, but unfortunately, Randy was called into work emergency. So we're going to reschedule that topic, and it will be a fun one, guys. So I thought of a new topic today, and the topic is well, the title of the show is "The King of Texas," and the reason why I called it is because if everyone knows the lion is called the king of the jungle, right? The king of the Serengeti. Well, if that's the case, then the king of Texas has to be the feral pig. Of all the
It's
animals
certainly
out
the
there,
biggest
it's
annoyance.
it's ruling the roost, as they say. It's running roughshod all over the wilderness in Texas. So I remember I first got introduced to this idea actually listening to the Joe Rogan podcast because he got really into hunting. And then he would have all these hunters on, and they would talk about the feral pig problem over in Texas. And then Jason and Rob and I think it was with Bob, we started talking about it on the podcast, but we didn't have enough time. But it's always fascinated me. So, Tex, starting first and foremost, okay. First question I wanted to ask you: how the hell did this whole thing even start?
Well, the thing about it is, it's not okay. I don't know exactly how the. I think it started like anything else. I mean, people bring invasive species over
Hmm.
and them getting out because we have the Russian boars. We have, several different breeds of pigs, and even the so-called domesticated ones that you raise for food, there's several different breeds to get what you want.
Okay.
Just like cattle, you know, you get different breeds for different things. You're not necessarily going to raise Angus to get milk, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's just them getting out, and they breed so. I mean, everybody talks about breeding like rabbits, but man, I tell you, I don't think rabbits have anything on pigs. They just reproduce so rapidly, and not to mention they're just destructive, just
How fast do
destructive.
they reproduce?
I think they can have 2 or 3 litters a year, and you're looking at 8, 10, 12 piglets of shot. So I mean, it's just like,
That's like almost 20 pigs a year.
yeah, yeah.
Damn. And how quickly do pigs reach sexual maturity?
It doesn't take long. It's a matter of months.
Jeez. So they really do
So
like reproduce like actually jackrabbits would be lucky if they reproduce like them.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Because when you're raising pigs for food or whatever, um, the male pigs, the first thing you want to do is cut them when they're
Mm.
young, and then you don't. When you take them to slaughter, you don't want something that's just really, really huge because it doesn't do the meat any favors in flavor areas.
Hmm.
So um, about about 300-400 pounds, is a big pig to slaughter.
Mhm.
Um, but I knew a girl that lived about a quarter, no, pardon me, about a half a mile away from me.
Mhm.
And see, when I grew up, when I was in school, I was an FFA and I showed pigs. So it was, and she did too. She had a boar that weighed, I want to say it was close to 1,000 pounds, and she would
Jeez.
walk this thing around on a leash like a dog. And it got
Like,
out
how
one
tall was
time
it? Like, at its shoulder or at its
about
back?
4 feet.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was huge.
1,000 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, they get big. They get big.
That's
But
heavier than like a typical bear, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, typical black bear anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, there's been several stories out there of Hogzilla is probably the most famous one.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about being, I think it was 1,000 pounds, a little over 1,000 pounds, something like that. But yeah, they're out there. I mean, in fact the serial killer we just got through talking about on
Mhm.
not this latest show, but the one before,
Mhm.
the pig farm killer up in Canada. Instead of a guard dog, they had a 600-pound boar that roamed the property and was trained as an attack pig. I know it sounds funny, but yeah,
Sounds kind of effective too, if you think about it.
very much so. Very much so. They can effectively kill and eat a human because they
Oh
will eat
man.
anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the one thing we can all agree, like everyone pretty much knows about pigs is that they'll pretty much eat anything,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
like
I mean,
when
go
oh no,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say, on in the movie Hannibal, um, the guy's feeding wants to feed Hannibal to the pigs and everything, and you see them training the pigs, and they turn a certain piece of music on, and or no, it's not music. I'm sorry, it's sounds of humans screaming, and then they throw a dummy in the pigs in the group in the pen, and they just tear the dummy apart. So they're training them to whenever they hear those screams, it's chow time, and that's not that's not hard at all to not only imagine, but it has happened with, like I said, the guy called the pig farm killer up in Canada. That's what he did. He fed his victims to the pigs.
Didn't like I heard the mafia used to do something like that, right? Or like
Oh, I'm sure they did.
certain members of the mafia were known to do that. I guess it was a really effective way of getting rid of a body.
Yeah, it is because they'll eat bone and everything. So,
Jeez. Well, nature's
but yeah,
garbage
and
disposal.
yeah, they ain't no
Yeah.
lie. They ain't no
Yeah.
lie. But yeah, they can be nasty critters, and the farmers and ranchers are having a huge problem with them because they're so prolific down here that it's tearing up your fields. They'll destroy a crop. We went down to one time when trip we made down to Brown Springs, which that area is a wilderness refuge area down
Mhm.
there, wildlife management area, and the biologist was on a bobcat small tractor trying to put together a field that the pigs had tore up, and it was acres and acres of stuff that they had torn up, and he was trying to fix it.
Jeez.
I mean,
Do you remember
oh
which
yeah.
kind of crop it was?
In that particular field, it was either hay or wheat. I can't remember which one it was at the point.
And they just went through and tore that shit up, huh?
Oh yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Damn. And I heard they
yeah. Because
actually take it out by the roots too, so it's like
they
irreparable
root
harm.
everything up. Root everything
That's just rude.
up.
So
Right.
so wait, so how long has this been a problem though? Like is it as long as you remember or is it something that's more like in recent decades or
I don't remember hearing about it very much when I was growing up. Um, I don't ever remember because I grew up going out by myself from like 12 years old and going out
Mhm.
hunting and camping and everything. and I never remember it being even mentioned as a concern. And then it seems like in the I believe in the '90s is when I remember hearing it first start getting out of hand,
Hmm.
and people were actually paying people to come on their land and kill pigs.
Yeah.
And now now something I do remember is the coyote bounty. Growing up, there was a bounty on coyotes because they were out of control, and people would pay you to come. They'd pay you so much for per ear for a coyote.
Hmm.
I remember that, but I don't remember pigs ever being an issue until about the '90s, I guess. But now, with the popularity of pig hunting, the script is flipped, and people with and it's pretty smart on the farmers um, part actually, because now you pay them to hunt pigs on their property, and they're making money off you, and they're getting rid of their pig problem at the same time. So because people love to hunt pigs, you know,
I guess that's the
uh,
new pastime there. I mean, someone's got to do it, right?
yeah, because you don't need. There's no tag limit. There's no bag limit. There's no nothing, and you can hunt them at night, you know, and pretty much by any means. So
Wow.
you can trap them, and the pig traps that you use are not, like a bear trap. That's nothing like that. It's actually a pin that you bait, and most of them they'll have a one-way gate
Hmm.
like a fish trap. Same principle.
Yeah.
They can go in, but they can't get out, and they'll trap. The idea is to trap numerous pigs. You know, so the problem is you tend to catch only the big ones because the little piglets, depending on what wire you use, can get out of the wire.
Hmm.
And some of these pigs are so big and strong that they'll tear your trap up trying to get out. So it's I know a gentleman that actually had to go hand to hand with a pig because it attacked him, and he didn't have nothing on him but a knife,
Jeez.
and he's lucky he survived.
How messed up did he get?
Uh, well, it beat him up pretty bad, and it cut him up pretty bad.
Damn,
But
he just had a knife, huh? He had to take it old school.
yeah, and the problem was when there because a pig attacked him, they ended up out in the middle of the riverbed
Hmm.
going tooth and nail with each other. And when he drew his knife, the scabbard came with it because he didn't have a scabbard on his belt. He just had it tucked in the back of his pants. But when he
Okay.
went to draw the knife, the sheath came with it, and he wasn't even stabbing the pig with a knife. He was just hitting it with the scabbard, with the knife in it. But he had to
Damn.
he had a grip on the pig's ear, and he was gripping that pig's ear so hard, and they were wrestling so hard that the pig's ear actually ended up tearing off in his hand. And that's the only reason the pig left and left him alone. Because I mean, if not, it would have killed him.
Oh, the pig survived. I thought he killed the pig with the knife. I
No,
was
no,
about to
neither
say,
one of
oh, he
both of
had to
them
fight it off.
survived.
Oh.
But yeah, when the pig's ear ripped off, the pig ran off.
Oh yeah. Damn.
But
At least the guy can brag to his friends and say, "Hey, I took on a wild pig with a knife."
hey,
How
it's
many?
one. You want to talk about legit badass people? I mean, you don't get much more badass than
Yeah, you
that, as
don't.
far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. I mean, and eventually we're going to have him on the show
Hmm.
um, to talk about that and some other stuff. So, um,
It's just, it's just fascinating to me how, I guess, the state of Texas decided, these pigs are such a huge problem, and they need to go real bad. So, no rules, free for all. Anyone can hunt them. No tags, no licenses, any weapon, pretty much, right?
yep,
Because I've
yep,
seen clips of people in like helicopters mowing them
Oh,
down with like machine guns and
oh yeah, oh yeah. You can pay to go do that.
yeah,
It costs you a pretty penny, but yeah, you can. I know a guy that actually did a helicopter hunt for pigs. He says the best time he ever had.
using a
But
machine gun.
yeah, yeah.
Damn, that does sound
Um,
like fun.
I know, right? But they got, and this was 2017, maybe something like that. The government had decided that to try to control the pig problem, that they were going to poison them, and they started using warfarin, which is a blood thinner, and the same blood thinner that people take, for blood clots.
Hmm.
So they started baiting these pigs with and putting warfarin in it. Well, the problem with that, and all the ranchers and farmers were raising hell about it because, okay, you got this toxic blood thinner in that these pigs eat. They die. Other things feed on it. Secondary, third hand, and everything else. Much less if it dies like in a body of water. Then you contaminate the water, and so the ranchers and the farmers raised so much hell about it that they finally suspended the program. Now I don't
Hmm.
know if it started back up or not. I hadn't checked on it, but that was I think, yeah, it was back in 2016, 2017 when that happened.
So, despite everyone having the freedom to hunt them as much as they want and whenever in whichever way they want, the government still thought, you know what, these hunters are not doing a big enough dent into this problem, so we're going to have to just straight up poison them
Yeah,
and perhaps contaminate the environment with it.
right.
Those
Not a
plans never seem to work either.
Yeah, not a great decision. The one and the problem is people hunt these things and eat them. Okay. Well, what they found out, a side effect of the warfarin was that, because when you skin out a pig, there's a big, of course, they have a big fat layer.
Hmm.
Okay. It would turn that fat layer turquoise, the warfarin would.
Mm.
So, luckily, if it was in the late stages of poisoning, you could tell after, but not till after you killed the pig and you were dressing it out, that, okay, well, I got to get rid of this pig. But I don't know how much of the poison that the pig had to intake before it started that process, and how long that process took to color the fat.
Hmm.
So you had people that were hunting these pigs, you know, and eat them and possibly poisoning themselves. So it was a huge problem,
How edible is wild pig?
just as edible as a docile pig, as a domestic pig.
Okay, it doesn't taste that much different.
Yeah.
Preparation, nothing.
It's all about how you prep it. That's what it all comes down to.
Okay.
If you can screw up it, we slaughtered our own pigs. So and I worked for some time, for a little while. I worked in a slaughterhouse too. So there is a right way and a wrong way to do stuff.
Hmm.
Um, you shoot the pig. You have to bleed the pig. If you don't bleed the pig, and that's any animal really. It's very good. It's always wise to hang it and let it bleed. And um, because if you don't, that gets rid of a lot of that strong gamey taste,
Hmm.
you know. But with wild pigs, if you're going to eat one, you really don't want a big male, because the testosterone and everything else kind of, you get that very strong gamey taste. It's hard to get rid of. But there's marinades you can use and preparations you can do and stuff like that to tone it down, but you won't ever get completely rid of it. So young pigs or female pigs are the ones you want to shoot, you know, from my personal standpoint anyway, because it's a better tasting meat.
Hmm.
If I can pop a pig under 100 pounds, I'm a happy camper. Because, I mean, not only that, if you can pop one at about 50 pounds or 80 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood, throw him on the smoker and cook the whole thing, all at one time.
So it's the smaller ones you want to eat.
Oh, yeah. Those are the good ones.
Okay.
But
So the real big ones then, they're not, because I heard somewhere that they're not very desirable for just as a food source, like the big
no,
ones,
not
like the
really.
Hogzilla ones,
Yeah, no.
which is kind of a
No.
bummer because those are the ones you want to hunt.
Well, I mean, you kill them and drag them off somewhere and let other things feed on them.
Yeah,
You
true.
know,
I'm sure there are
but
plenty of things out there that are willing to chow down.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Other pigs,
Other pigs will,
other pigs. Yeah, yeah.
because they don't care. They just
Nope,
don't
they
give a
do
damn.
not. They do not.
What about with regards to like traffic? Do they ever get hit by? You know how like every other state, right? There's a big issue with like roadkill, like people
Hmm.
hitting deer, and then you'll see deer carcasses along the side of the road. You don't see anything like that ever happen with pigs, right?
Oh yes, you do.
Or you do?
You do. Um, that pig that I was telling you about that woman kept, had basically
Hmm.
as a pet, got out and got hit by a car, totaled the car. It was like hitting a brick wall because they're so freaking solid and low to the ground.
Hmm.
You know, it's just the opposite problem with like a moose. A moose is so tall that it rolls over and either rolls over the top of the car or goes through the windshield. That's why the fatalities are so bad for hitting a moose. But the pig is just the opposite. It's so low to the ground that it's like hitting a brick wall, and they're so solid. You know,
I mean, that thing was about half the weight of the car itself, so
right,
you're
right,
basically like hitting. It's like hitting a parked car, essentially.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So, but yeah, yeah, you'll see pigs dead on the roads out here. Not as much as you would think.
Hmm.
In fact, I've seen more dead coyotes and deer than I have pigs. But um, I think pigs for generally stay off the roads for some reason. Um, but and normally it's like when we go camping, we'll hear if they're around you, you're going 9 times out of 10 you're going to hear them. They're not quiet.
Hmm.
I don't think they can take a step without grunting. So it's
Yeah, at least they're not like Bigfoot, because Bigfoot's all stealthy and can sneak up on you. Pigs, you could
yeah,
hear a mile away, I
yeah.
guess.
Well, when I was first getting into the game and going out by myself and stuff, um, Bigfoot, Bigfoot camping, I guess you would call
Hmm.
it. um, I was out by myself in Brown Springs, and I heard two somethings coming up in the close to my camp through the brush, and I didn't. I'm not one of these guys that every noise I hear or whatever is a Bigfoot. Okay, because it's not. Um, so I'm listening to this, and I'm like, thinking, God, freaking pig, because pigs are very prevalent out there where I go. And I'm like, man, I don't feel like I didn't have a gun with me at the time, and I'm like, I just don't feel like messing with any pigs in my camp, trying to run them off, taking a chance on them treeing me in the back of my truck or whatever, because they will tree you and wait.
Hmm.
They will sit. They will if they run you up a tree, they will sit there and wait on you to come down. You know, and they're pretty vicious, pretty cunning too. But they I didn't feel like messing with it. I thought, well, crap, I'm just gonna pack up and go home. And it was the middle of the night, and I was about halfway between Oklahoma and Texas, or well, I was about halfway between Oklahoma, Brown Springs and my house,
Hmm.
and I was talking to Kerry Arnold on the phone. God rest his soul. And he asked me how it went and everything, and I said, "Man, I got pissed off. I had a couple of freaking pigs come up close to the camp. I didn't feel like dealing with them, so I just left." And I don't remember why we started talking about this, but I remember asking him. I said, "Hey," I said, because he was a big hunter, and I said, "Have you ever had pigs come up on you and be quiet?" He goes, "No, no." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because I never heard anything but footsteps." He laughed. He goes, "You know what that was, don't
So it wasn't pigs.
you?" It wasn't pigs. It wasn't pigs. Turns
Oh.
out it was could have very well been a Bigfoot or a couple of them anyway.
So wait,
So
you heard the sounds of like the footsteps, but then it was like actively not making that much sound
yeah,
was
I
what it
heard the
was?
footsteps, and that's all I heard.
But you
You
can
know,
tell if it's four-legged or two-legged though, right?
for the most part. But the thing about it is, Bigfoot also travels on all fours.
That's true. Forgot about that.
So and if there's a lot of deadfall, you know,
Mhm.
um, a lot of things sound the same coming through the woods. A lot of people mistake. They'll hear an armadillo, which is they'll hear an armadillo coming through the brush. Sometimes they sound an awful lot like something big walking. And I know
Sometimes
armadillos have
sometimes
scared a lot of people.
sometimes I've noticed like even squirrels, like if there's enough dead foliage on the ground, a
Mhm.
squirrel like tramping through the woods can
Yeah,
sound like something big stomping around.
right, right. Yeah, you really have to. That's why I'm not a fan of people that as soon as they hear something that's making footsteps, they
Mhm.
want to leave. It's like
Yeah.
you don't even know what it is. Oh, it was a big one. No, you don't know. And even if it was, so what? But anyway,
Or if it was, oh, that I think we've got wild pigs. Uh-oh.
yeah.
Then
But
that's a
nine times
problem.
out of 10, you'll hear pigs making grunt and squeals and everything else because when they're walking in a group,
Yeah.
they'll nudge each other, and grap at each other. There's not a quiet animal at all. But
So they're not stealthy. They're not the kind of animals that would sneak up on you.
no, no, no,
No.
no, not normally. No,
So, man, I gotta ask. So you said you left because you were unarmed. I was like, if you're gonna go there by yourself, wouldn't you go armed?
I do now, but for a long time I didn't feel the need to.
Really?
I still don't really feel the need to. It's a precaution because the pig problem down there has gotten so bad, and then you also have the Great North American meth head you have to deal with. So, which is really a bigger concern for me than pigs.
Hmm.
Um, but and depending on who you ask, we may have tigers in the area too. So,
Really? Well, at least that'll help solve the pig problem.
well, that's and the thing about it is that's why there's been recorded sightings of tigers, but that escaped from Joe Exotic's place down there. And this was told to me by law enforcement down there, but there's been no reported attacks. And I think there's a dual reason for that. One of them is these animals were raised around humans, so they
Hmm.
don't really see us as food.
Hmm.
And two, there's other food sources that taste way better than we do. That's very, very available down there. The deer population is thick. The uh, coyote population is thick. The pig population is just out of this, out of sight. So you got possums, you got raccoons, and just
Yeah.
rabbits and everything down there. So, well, last thing, I mean, a lot of people don't understand an apex predator won't take a chance on getting injured. If they're in their right mind, won't take a chance on getting injured, and if they could help it, because a small injury out in the wild can turn deadly real quick, and they don't have the energy to expend. I mean, it's not like we get in a scrap or whatever, and we can go sit down, have all the water we want, and if we want something to eat, we can replace that and all that kind of stuff. It's not like that. They you get in a fight, you wear yourself out, you still have to go hunt your food.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can imagine, and like take an MMA fighter, go take him through a fight, and then go, okay, now you have to go hunt and kill your food. So you do that once, maybe twice, and you're not going to want to go fight as much. I'm going to spend my energy doing, hunting, putting food on the table. So
Hunting stuff that won't, mess me up or tear a
right,
limb
right,
off. Yeah.
right. They want the easy targets, which I mean, given we are easy targets, but I just there again, I think that's where it comes into. They really don't see us as food because they were raised up around people.
Plus,
We're
yeah,
not the
food would be
first
so
choice.
plentiful there.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. The thing is, though, like, even if a tiger were to encounter a pig like that, it would probably think then, like, oh, why would I even bother trying to take down this ginormous boar that's half the size of a car when I could just go after a deer that would put up much less of a fight? It's probably, gonna outrun me, but
Well, odds are they're not gonna take the big ones on. They're gonna
yeah,
go snatch a young one and run off with it. But a
yeah,
lot of times, if you watch these videos, like over in Africa, you were talking about the lion.
yeah,
You know, that's what they'll do. They'll take the youngest and the weakest of the herd. That's how they operate. You know, so circle of life.
it is the circle of life. So, have you had many encounters or experiences of your own, like going out on pig hunts and trying to take them down yourself and taking some home? And
You know what? I've never killed one to eat,
hmm
um, simply because there's such a pain in the ass to dress.
yeah,
I mean, they really are. But I don't even deer hunt anymore, um, because I don't see the sense in it. Now, killing pigs, if you want me to go, if I can go kill some pigs and just leave them lay or
yeah,
donate them to somebody, that's fine. I don't mind doing that. But as far as food goes, there's no need for me to go hunt,
yeah,
and I'm not a trophy hunter. That part of my life is behind me, you know. Um, it's like when I fish, I catch and release. Why am I going to damage the population of in the wild when I can go to the store and get all the freaking fish I want?
yeah,
So, but don't get me wrong. I mean, there are situations where when you're fishing that you can't catch and release because, like, if you a really 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 big fish like a if you have to fight them a long time, you're lucky if they're going to make it anyway because they stress themselves out so much during the fight.
hmm,
Um, or say if you're fishing in the Great Lakes or if you're fishing offshore in the ocean, if you catch the fish and you pull it up from a depth, you kill it on the way up anyway. So there are circumstances where you don't catch and release. But as far as the landlocked places like Texas, well, Texas is not landlocked, but like the ponds and the lakes and stuff, the creeks and stuff that I fish, you don't really have to worry about that. You can
hmm.
catch release all day long. But and as far as hunting, I'd rather hunt with a camera now than I would with a gun. You know,
Yeah.
but I will
Unless
gladly help somebody if they. I will gladly assist somebody in killing the pigs on their property if they want me to. Me and
so, yeah,
me and Nicholas have he's got a bad pig problem on his property, and when it cools off, I'm going to go up there and kill pigs
Help
with
them out.
him. Yeah,
What's the in that kind of situation? What would be like the weapon of choice?
it depends on. It's really a personal choice. You want something big enough to take them down. A lot of people go with a 308, um, 30-06 and that type of thing. Um, 7 mag. It's pretty much the same thing. Anything you use for a deer, you can use for a pig.
Hmm.
I personally shoot a 270 because I enjoy target shooting. I enjoy long distance shooting,
Mm-hmm.
and 270s arguably the flattest shooting long range weapon that you can buy without going, you know, crazy. So,
So Nick's got a pig problem on his in his area. I'm
oh
thinking
yeah,
that must be kind of sweet being able to go hunting whenever you please, right?
oh yeah, he hunts almost on a daily basis. I mean,
Yeah.
when he gets, that's what he does his week. That's what he spends his weekends doing. When he's off work, he goes out to his property and goes hunting.
He kind of has to.
Yeah, exactly. He told me the other day. He said, I think he's got 2 freezers or 3 freezers. They're completely packed full of pig.
Well, at least he's not worried about running out of meat anytime soon.
Yeah, as long as his freezers stay cold, he's good to go.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, it's really a huge problem, and not just here in Texas, Oklahoma too. A lot. Well, pretty much all in the South. Pretty
Oh,
much all.
okay. Because I was about to ask. I was like, is Texas the only place affected by this? But it's
Mm-mm, no,
so
pretty
it's
much.
spread.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and it's getting worse. I mean, they're spreading out. So I
So
think,
how
of course,
far have they come?
down here it's the climate. I mean,
Yeah.
it's but
So how far have they spread so far?
I was I don't know how big of a problem they are north of the Mason Dixon line.
Hmm.
Um, really haven't heard a whole lot. I know there's pigs up north, but they're just not. They don't seem to be as plentiful as they are down here.
Yeah. So Texas is kind of like the central hub of the pigs, and they kind of
Yeah,
spread out from there.
yeah, pretty
I feel
much.
like so I guess like somewhere in the 90s, some unscrupulous farmer in Texas just kind of let loose a couple of his pigs. They ran off into the wilds, and then bam, you got this problem.
Yeah, I don't know, and like I said, I'm not sure how the Russian boars got started over here. They got brought over
Mhm.
here. You know, um, there was of course you got the javelinas and everything else. So, and then you get the domesticated breeds that get loose. They get mixed in with these, and you get these monsters. you know, and you're talking about you're thinking. I mean, when you talk about a big bore hog, you're talking about something that's got tusk that can get that long.
Hmm.
You know, and they'll just absolutely tear you to pieces.
Have uh have there been stories of people actually being killed by any?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It doesn't happen that often, but more times than not, you'll hear stories about hunters or somebody that's out on their property or whatever, and they'll get treed by a pig and they'll have to wait them out. But I've heard that quite a bit. I've heard I, I've I've heard stories of several people that had to take a very uncomfortable seat in a mesquite tree to wait pigs out.
How
But
long do they have to sit there for?
oh, hours.
Jeez.
It just depends on how what if the pigs decide to wander off, how mad you made them. Because I mean, they will, and they're fast. A lot of people don't understand how fast a pig is. They are fast.
Hmm.
You I mean, they're funny to watch run, but
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very very fast.
So there have been stories of people getting killed.
Yep.
Damn. And there are no natural predators either in Texas for pigs, really.
No, not
Not
really. Coyotes. Well, you got mountain lions, and we're getting the wolves are coming back. That's going to help. That's going to help. The red wolf population is coming back, so
okay.
that's going to help.
Yeah,
The
because
mountain
mountain
lion
lions, I
population
feel
is
like
coming
would
back.
be like, I'm not gonna bother with that. There's deer right over here. Why do I want to mess with Hogzilla over here? I feel like once Hogzilla comes through, all the other animals are gonna be like, yo, we're piecing out. Okay, just let this guy through. The other animals are like, yo, man, where's Bigfoot when you need him?
Yeah, right.
Hey, that's
Now I
one
do
thing. Like,
know
yep.
on occasion pigs will take over an area and run the game out of it. So they'll destroy the food source. You know,
Haven't they like already caused a number of animal species to go extinct, like ground nesting birds and stuff? And
I don't know of any personally.
hmm,
Um, I know another big problem that we had that again showed up in basically the '90s is the fire ant population.
that showed up in the '90s. I thought that had
Yep.
always been around.
I remember as a kid, I don't even remember fire ants being mentioned. We
Damn.
had big red ants, you know, um, and then I remember hearing the fire ant stories and everything, and they just kept creeping north and creeping north and creeping north, and they decimated the quail population for a while. Um, the horny toad lizard that we have, which is our state lizard, decimated that population. Um, I see there was something else that the deer population
How do
because
ants mess with deer?
when they go to birth, go to have their babies and stuff, they'll eat they'll kill the babies if they happen to disturb a mound or whatever, or they find the afterbirth or whatever, or the deer right afterwards, you
Damn,
know. So
that is a
yeah,
horrible way for a newborn deer to go.
yeah, it is. It is. I mean, and basically, you have a deer has no defense against it. You know, I mean, it's hard to get that when I don't know if you've ever stepped in a mound of fire ants or not, but I mean, it's not easy to get them off of you. And when they hit you, they hit you in countless numbers. I mean,
I didn't realize that they weren't native to Texas.
no, they are not native to Texas. They're
So,
South American.
oh, so you think they may have just creeped their way up, maybe because of like climate change or something, or
Well, that and I think they came over on you know different shipments and everything else. It's like different, every once in a while you'll get a shipment that's got a banana spider in it, a true banana spider, not what we call a banana spider, but a true banana spider. That was a concern for a while. I mean, having these fruit shipments and everything bringing over invasive species.
hmm,
So,
damn.
and what's funny about fire ants is they're almost like army ants, man. They'll build bridges and floats and everything else across streams and all kinds of crazy stuff. And anytime the thing about it is that down there, the the wet season from now I heard this, I'm not sure how true it is, but from what I heard, they're breeding or the signal for the queen to lay eggs was the wet season, right?
Okay.
So, and I may be wrong in being South America. It may have been an African thing. I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't remember now that you're questioning me. But the wet season is when they would lay lay their eggs. Well, hell, up here we get rain all year round.
So the weather
So
actually helps them. But wait, what about the winters then? Doesn't the winter time? Because I know winters can sometimes in Texas get, you know, cold. Not all the time, but
well, and that's the problem. Not all the time, you know. We love a good cold long winter down here because it dampens the bug problem. I mean, the mosquito and the chiggers and the ticks. We won't have as bad a year. The spring and
mhm,
the summer. So we love a good 2 week freezing temperature stretch at least. And because it will take care of some of the insect problem. But the problem is that doesn't happen that often down here. So
yeah.
that's why you see I've never seen a map, but I can remember people talking about them moving through Texas, the fire ants moving through Texas. Oh, they're here now. Oh, they're here now. I mean, you kept getting reports further north, further north, further north, and like where Rob's from, Michigan. I don't even know if they have them up there. I have no idea. I don't know how far north they've gotten.
I got bit by fire ants in North Carolina.
There you go.
That shit
There
hurt.
you go. Yeah.
And I remember I was wearing sandals and I was standing at a parking lot, just not even paying attention, and just out of the blue, like my foot is on fire. Like
Yep.
I'm just like, oh my god! And I'm looking down. There are all these ants all over my sandals, biting my feet. I to take all this time to try to get each one off, and then for weeks, it's like just red spots all over my foot, and it stung. It hurt.
Yep.
That was not a good time. But yeah, I'm,
No.
I'm surprised though. I didn't realize that they weren't. I thought they were always there in Texas.
No.
But so the winter times they don't really do shit for the pigs, do they? The winter
No. No.
pigs are just like
They don't
we
care.
laugh at your winter. Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
care,
they
right?
don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine. Heat, they don't care.
No. They'll bed down when it gets really, really, really hot because a lot of people don't know is pigs don't sweat except for one spot. And that's their the end of their nose. It's the only place they are able to sweat from.
Hmm.
So a pig can overheat fairly easily. So
So they
it's
just
like
have to go wallow and
that's why they wallow in the mud.
so actually the really hot summers will be more of a liability to the pigs than like really cold winters, right?
Yeah, they don't tend to be as rampant, I guess you could say. I mean, they're as active. Um, they're still out and about. I mean, they have to eat,
Yeah.
but you're not going to see them as you know active and running around and all that kind of stuff. But now, if they have a good water source next to them or whatever, oh yeah. But
Good place to wallow around in that mud, get
yeah,
all cool.
because I mean, pigs are smart. Some people say they're smarter than dogs.
I hear that.
So
But yeah,
it's they're a dangerous critter, that's for sure,
they're
and they
dangerous,
are a
but
nuisance.
they also taste good.
Yes, they do.
They also do provide us
Bacon
bacon
makes
and ham.
everything better.
Yep.
It's a
Yeah, I
shame that we can't shift the just temporarily if we could shift uh, pig farmers from raising pigs to strictly putting out wild pig,
I feel like
maybe we
there's
can
some
make a
kind of
dent in it.
opportunity there, right? There should be, right? There's
You would
plenty
think.
of right. I mean, I have heard one of the main concerns about eating wild pig is the like parasites. Is that true?
Well, it's true with any wild animal.
Yeah, but they just tend to have more so, or it's just like the meat is not as
Well, the
safe.
problem is, a lot of people don't cook their meat thoroughly either, especially when it comes to pork, because you
Yeah, that's
really,
true.
really need to cook pork all the
That's
way,
true.
to a certain temperature all the way through. So beef, not so much, but even beef, I mean, has had its issues. Look at
Yeah.
mad cow disease. So
Yeah, we had a big issue with mad cow disease over in Korea. Not because it was people were dying from it, but Korea, I think this was back in like 2007 or 8. They struck a deal with the US to import all their beef from American farms. But then some people started this online rumor that US meat had mad cow disease,
mm,
which is complete bullshit. I mean, yeah, there were a couple
right,
cases, but it wasn't like, and also people didn't really know what it was. So
right.
people were like protesting out in Korea. It was the dumbest thing because I was there and people were arguing with me too. They would be like, "You're from America. You're trying to poison us with mad cow disease." I'm like, "Do people even know what the fuck mad cow disease even is or how it even operates? You know which part of the actual cow you got to eat in order to get it, right? Because it's only found in the brain and in the spinal tissue. Well, if you're
Right.
not eating those parts, you don't have anything to worry about, right?" But then these
Yeah.
people are like, but then these people were like, "No, the American people, the Americans are trying to poison us, and they're going to release mad cow disease into the population, and pretty soon it's going to spread into the water, and it's going to poison our water supply, and it's going to spread into the air." And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not how mad cow disease works, you morons. But people were scared about it, right? People had that concern, which was ironic because prior to that and after that, they were actually importing all of their meat from Australia, all of their beef. Turns out Australia had even more cases of mad cow disease than the US did. So much good all that protesting did for you. Man, that was stupid. Man. And I was
Well,
there
and
like,
and that's probably the biggest problem with all these people that protest this and this and that and the other thing. They're ignorant on most of them are ignorant on the subjects that are protesting.
yeah, completely.
They just protest. They're just doing it to protest. That's all they are. That's all they're doing. You know,
I
it's
remember
like people vote and they don't even know what issues that. So oh, I'm voting for so and so because he's Democratic or he's Republican. They don't care what kind of person he is or what his um, agenda is or anything. Is oh, I'm voting this way because I've always, my family's always voted this way.
that's part of the
Well,
team that I, you know, support. It's no
yeah,
different
it's
from being
like
like a sports fan if you think about it.
no, no, not really.
Right? I've
I
thought
mean,
about
it's
this. Okay. So,
crazy. But
let's say you are a fan of a certain team. I don't know. Let's say you're a Cowboys fan, right? Because you're from
Mhm.
Texas. All right. For example, the thought about like I started thinking about it real deeply, and I'm like, when you're supporting a team, are you actually supporting the players on that team, or is it more you're supporting the franchise, right? Because if you're supporting the players, then what happens if all the players move teams? Your
Well, and
support
that and
dies for
that's
them, right?
yeah,
Once
and
they
the
go to
thing
the other
about it,
team, yeah.
well, here's a good example of that. Okay, enemy number one as far as football went for a while down here was Terrell Owens. Oh my gosh, we hated Terrell Owens. He disrespected us for dancing in the middle of the star and all this kind of stuff. And was it like a year or two later, he was on the Cowboys, and everybody
Yep.
loved him.
And then everyone loved him, right?
I'm like, what the hell? you know, doesn't change what he is. He's still an
But
ass.
because of him, our team gets to win more often. So I guess
Right,
at the end of
right,
the
right.
day, that's all that matters, right?
Yep, yep.
So yeah, as long as people's team wins, I guess they'll just make up whatever bullshit that suits their agenda, I guess.
Yeah. Well, but some people do follow players, you know,
Yeah.
and they'll switch. I had, I knew a guy that our sons were the same age, right? And they both played football. and this guy was a Longhorns fan,
Hmm.
and our sons were in high school, and we were having a conversation one night about the possibility of getting scholarships and everything to play football. And I'm a TCU Frogs fan. Okay, he was a Texas Longhorns fan. So we're talking about different schools and all that kind of stuff. And he made the remark because Texas Longhorns hate OU, Oklahoma University. Okay, they
Yeah.
hate them, bitter rivals. Okay, Red River Rumble has been a famous game for a long, long time. Rumble on the Red River, whatever it is. And so my buddy makes the remark about um, if his son got a scholarship to OU, he wouldn't let him go. And I'm like, now, wait a minute. You're telling me that your son gets offered a full ride scholarship to arguably one of the best universities in the nation as far as football goes, and you wouldn't let him go just because you're not a fan, you're a Longhorn fan. On that one thing, you're not going to let him go. Well, thank you. You can't
I
make
mean, if it's
statements
a
like
full scholarship,
that. I mean, that would. And I told him, I said, you know what? That would probably be the stupidest, most ignorant thing that I'd ever heard of if you did that. But people are, they take their fandom quite seriously on a lot of stuff.
yeah,
Look at the whole Star Wars versus Star Trek debate.
yeah,
I mean, it's like,
people get mad. People get mad. I mean, you see it in the paranormal community.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you see people get mad
No,
over
same thing in the Bigfoot
nonsensical.
community. You
Yeah,
know, apers, woo, woo people. I mean, yeah, anything. It's like, can't we all just get along?
yeah. Apparently not. Apparently,
Apparently
according
not.
to the pigs, we can.
No.
It's the pigs' mentality. They're just like we're not getting along with anybody.
Well, you talk about the pig problem and everything. Well, I mean, you got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Their mascot is a pig. So I mean, but
So they
yeah,
got yeah. I'm sure they've got their problems of their own with them over there as well.
yeah. Well, just about anywhere in the South, you're going to run into a pig issue, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better.
They're
Because
not making any progress in that. They're having, like the
no,
hunting hasn't really been. There's got to be a lot of
no,
people out there hunting too. I mean, this is Texas. Like pretty much everyone's armed. Pretty much everyone's like
yeah,
into hunting, and there's still
yeah. For the
because
most
I
part,
figured they would be putting some kind of dent. I guess they just reproduce way too fast.
yep. And it's you know, uh, now that you basically, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's free places to go hunt. You can hunt free where I go. Um, but now you have to pay to almost anywhere you go to go hunt a pig. Well, why? Well, it's because these ranchers are trying to recoup some of the cost from the destruction of the pigs and
Yeah,
get rid of their pig problem.
yeah.
But
And there are people.
also,
Yeah,
you have these ranchers that have these big pig hunting ranches that are feeding the pigs, feeding the wild pigs, you know, and they're part of the problem, you know. So I don't know. I don't think there's an answer to it. It's gotten so bad. I don't see it doing anything but either nature leveling it out itself
Hmm.
or it just continuing to get worse. Because I mean,
Yeah,
poisoning is not the answer. Poisoning is not the answer.
poisoning's not the answer. There aren't enough predators. I guess Bigfoot and Dogman are taking their sweet ass time killing them. So
And a lot of times we've seen this happen. You know, the great powers to be will make a decision. Oh, we have this invasive species. Oh, we'll bring this other species in as a predator, right? And
yeah,
then you create a whole nother problem.
and then
You know,
you create a whole other problem. And the thing is, the problem with pigs is there's so few natural predators because
yeah,
Hogzilla. Like, what are you gonna bring in to just feed on those en masse? Polar bears?
yeah. I think the wolves are probably our best shot.
Even the wolves might not even think it's worth it.
Well,
They
they'll take
probably
down
just
enough
see
of
it.
the.
Yeah, they'll probably see a giant hog and be like, you know what? We're gonna stick with deer. No thanks.
But I mean, hopefully they would take enough of the old and the young.
Yeah, old and the young, the little ones.
Yeah. So maybe eventually, but I don't know if the population will ever get enough to be able to make a dent in it. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, we could always bring in crocodiles, I guess.
Oh, we've got those.
Oh, you do
Not
have
crocodiles.
crocodiles.
We got we
You
got
got gators.
alligators.
Oh,
We got
okay.
alligators in like every lake in Texas now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They've been spreading too, huh?
Oh yeah.
They're, they're probably not as bad as the pigs, though.
No, they're not. But I mean, we do have them. They've been seen in every lake and river that I know of.
Hmm. What about snakes? Do they do anything with them? Do they? They don't mess with each other, right? Pigs and snakes.
Oh, a pig will kill and eat a snake.
Okay, so venomous snake be damned.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, copperheads. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's food. Oh, well, geez. Like so few things that actually kill them. That
Yeah,
is
they're
a
pretty
problem.
damn tough. They're pretty damn tough.
Why doesn't
A
like
lot of times
Texas?
you can't even shoot them and kill them if you don't use the right weapon or and hit them in the right spot. They'll shrug it
Yeah,
off, keep going.
it's not like you could just take out a pistol, right, and do the job.
Yeah. Well, a
Yeah,
lot of times you don't want to get close enough to use a pistol on pig.
yeah,
That's a pure defense weapon when
yeah,
it comes to pigs.
yeah. I mean, if you are going to use a handgun against a wild pig like that on a hunt, you might as well just bring a desert eagle.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Well,
that'll.
what'd be nice if we could something like a minigun.
Yeah, yeah, or like a tank. Yeah, just have people like drive around in their pickup trucks with like machine guns, just ready to rock and roll when they see a bunch of pigs. Well, anyway, Tex, this has been fun. I do feel like I do have to end this one tonight because I'm still recovering from a fever. I've been sick all weekend.
Oh man,
So yeah, thankfully it's
sorry to
not
hear that.
the Chinese surprise. So I am
The
recovering.
Chinese
So
surprise.
yeah, I think we all know what we're talking about here. But yeah, before I
And
let you
that's
go,
what you're worried about saying? Some of the stuff you talked about on the channel, and that's what you're worried about saying?
yeah, man, I don't want to get. Nah, I'm just kidding.
You talk about Bigfoot's dick, but you can't say the C word.
I can't say the C word. Even that one's off limits. Bigfoot's dick is fine. It's just the Chinese surprise. You got to keep it as the Chinese
On
surprise.
that topic,
Yeah,
I'm not going to. We can talk about this later, but
sure.
and I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the whole show about that.
Mhm.
Did y'all talk about the politician, that congressman? I think it was. They got busted for drawing Bigfoot porn a few years ago.
For drawing Bigfoot porn.
Yeah,
No, I didn't hear about this.
drawing and having Bigfoot porn on his phone or whatever and sending it to people.
Who was this?
I can't remember his
Oh
damn
man,
name,
I gotta look this
but
up now.
yeah. Look it up. It's pretty funny.
Politician. I'm
Yeah,
looking
Saturday
at.
Night Live did a whole skit on it and everything. So
Oh, he. It was a Virginia congressman.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay. It was called Bigfoot Erotica.
yeah, yeah. I think he wrote Bigfoot Erotica.
All right. Well, I think I hope you guys had fun listening to us tonight. Tex, before I let you go, any final thoughts or words on the Texas pig problem?
I don't see it getting anything. I don't see it getting better, and I think the Wolves are
No.
the only chance we got.
We got to hold out for the wolves because,
Yeah.
like Dogman and Bigfoot, if you're going to be out wandering the wilderness like that, at least, pull your own weight. You guys could contribute a little better. I know you guys could, Bigfoot. Stop being so lazy. You
Do a
know,
brother a solid and kill a
yeah,
pig.
do us a solid. All right, you're already trespassing on our land. All right. Well,
Oh boy.
I'll leave it at that, folks. Good night. Bye.